those fans might actually be doing things and stuff. Hurrah! Yay! This is my mountain of ironing. This is my ironing setup. I use two like Turkish towels and an iron. I'm kind of hoping I can just knock through the ironing pretty quickly. My guess is about 2 hours because it's really, really hot today, like super hot. And so hovering over a steaming hot iron is just not my idea of a good time. I always pair up Andrew's clothing on a hanger. It saves space, and then he's, you know, ready to go. So I've got navy blue pants and a brown shirt. But what Andrew does is he immediately takes his brown shirt and pairs it with a brown pair of work pants, and he ends up looking like the guys make fun of him because he looks like a UPS driver in the office. I don't know. He just keeps doing it. I don't know why, but yeah, I never pair it like that. So we'll see what he does this week. Ironing took me about 3 hours, so I was a little slow, but he has 9 full ready-to-go outfits and then 4 shirts that are like wardrobe malfunction, weather, sweat, food stains, whatever. So we should be good for at least another week. Woo! I'm also in the process of painting the edges. You can see where the floor is like discolored and dingy, and then the edge paint is fresh. I've definitely stepped in the edging at least 2 or 3 times today, and I like stuck my foot in it and then like peel up the sticky tacky paint. Super aggravating. Also, my floor is sort of like dirty and discolored. Not at the edges. I wiped with a damp cloth and I cleaned first, but the rest of it. So I'm going to need to deep clean and like really get at all the dirt up so I can roll out a uniform coat moving forward, but probably not in the next couple of days. I need those edges to fully dry because I don't want to take a roller over them and then have them lift. So I have to be patient. I keep telling myself that.
We now have the Watchdog app set up on my phone. It was a bit of a frustration. The email address that I wanted to use, I could not get the login email trying to set it up to come through in the minute that it gives you to set up the app. So I had to choose a different email address. I like to push everything, logins and whatever, to a certain email address. Had to choose a different one just to get the email in time. At any rate, we've got it set up now so we can see what that thing is doing. A couple things from our trip to Dallas. For a later project, we've got new shocks. We kind of assumed this Tommy Bahama might need them after they got pretty well dunked, and it is 6-7 years old now. But here's the big thing. Here it is, folks. What they call the 3-inch lift. It's definitely something we know we can do, but we're not sure we should launch into it in the campground because it does require loosening one axle at a time, and it'll be a lot of work. This is starting to smell good. What do you think?
I think it, I don't know. I feel like it shouldn't be on foil, maybe.
Well, it's too late for that. I opted to do a quick flip and a short hook on the other side, and I think it'll be done. Right on time, there's my alarm. I think I like the looks of this. Particularly down at the edge, that's real flaky. I think we're doing good.
Shall we? I gotta clean up this mess first, but then we'll eat.
How do you think I did?
The fish tastes great, but I stole this fish from my brother's fridge in Dallas, so I don't know what it is.
No idea.
But it's delicious.
Yep.
Andrew had the hatch open when we first got up, but it's already really hot, so he had to close it back down because I think it's going to be a scorcher. But he is coming in the door right now. Let's see what he's carrying.
Last week we went to Dallas, and one of the things we thought we wanted to buy was the Airstream floor mat, the kind of gray one with Airstream on it. And At that location, it was about $75. So Shauna kept looking around in the parts area, found this one, and it turns out it was $8. So we bought two. Yeah, good investment there. We're just gonna stand on them, so they don't have to be perfect.
That blue is like pretty much a dead ringer for one of my favorite colors.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you want to put it out?
I do.
Okay,
I'm
let's do it.
very happy about this. Just trying to be careful here. I don't want to lose track of some staples in the floor. Easy does it. We got it. Perfect. All right.
We'll put it down, buddy. If it's okay. Does that feel like it's gonna slide when you step on it?
Maybe a little, but it may.
All right.
But probably not.
I can put one of those gripper
Things behind it. Yeah.
if needed. All right. Let's put the other one outside.
Okay.
Or you can use it to line your compartment.
I like outside. Let me get the staples out of it.
Okay.
Round two. It's supposed to have a high of 97 today. We've tried the awning. It's working today.
All right. It's gonna be hot working out there, so.
Yeah. I think we're going to be mostly in the shade today. That's good news. The projects we've picked. So.
Let's get to it.
Yeah. What you got?
I'm just cleaning the car because I'm finding it unpleasant. Do we even know why we're carrying half of a dollar? Not a whole dollar, not a dollar I can use, but just half of one.
Not the same thing as 50 cents, is it?
No. We need to pare down and just organize. We've got receipts and trash and just stuff. So that is my plan right now.
Okay.
What is your plan?
I think I'm going to start peeling that trim back.
Oh, so it rained recently, and the edge of the bedroom, while it wasn't a dramatic splashing leak like we had previously, when all that tatty stuff was falling, I did see water intrusion along the bottom of the wall on the inside. So we are leak hunting today, and it should be really, really hot and unpleasant. Yeah. So let's get to it.
Yeah.
Additionally, one of the things I wanted to mention since we're talking about truck maintenance, is our tonneau cover no longer stays attached. The fabric luffs and buffets in the wind too much, and it comes off and then it hits the back window.
Yeah, and that's important. We cannot keep doing that because if it hits the back window, it'll break. That's bad. But also, it covers the compressor.
So we used to live in a salt state, and the compressor we kept in the bed of the truck, but now I think we want to do a more traditional install now that we're not in the salt, and put it up and under and attach it to the frame somewhere under there. And then because of the tonneau cover, when I go and I park at like different stores and different places, I feel like it's just an attractive hazard, and I try not to keep anything in the bed of the truck these days because the cover doesn't close.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that tool display. Huh? Pretty nice.
If you've seen in a previous video, we did a little bit of work to minimize the dents that we had here. Obviously the scratches are still there, but I think the dents are better. This area sustained some damage, and on the inside we've seen that we have a water leak, possibly originating from around here. Now, we've never had an Airstream trailer that didn't have at least some degree of a leak somewhere around this belt line. So this is one of these areas that we're going to go in here now and see if we can correct it. Removing this, best to start at a seam. So that'll be your wheel wells on most trailers. So we're going to start down there. We're going to peel it back to get into this area where we really think we've got an issue. But it's just held on with 3M double-sided tape, essentially. So if you're careful in removing it, you can reuse it. Now, our trim has some damage spots, but we're not exactly in a rush to replace it. It's really just cosmetic. But here you go. You can see essentially what we've got is a rubber strip, double-sided tape, and an aluminum channel that it fits in. It's very wet along here. I've got water sitting in this channel. I've got a screw right here, more water down to another screw here. In our experience, the water follows the screw heads in, and this could be the root of our problem. I'm going to chase this whole channel, take out all the sticky stuff, clean up the mud, and report back and let you know what I find. The attachment of this rub rail is pretty consistent with other trailers we've had. Up here at the wheel well, we've got a double rivet situation, and then down here we've got singles running all the way down, and then where the corner starts and it goes around to the front of the trailer, they start to use screws, I assume because they'll hold better than the rivets. This rivet is a relatively shallow hold. It's holding this piece of aluminum to aluminum skin. This screw goes in much deeper. It's going to be through the aluminum here, through the skin, and into the edge of the plywood floor. Just before we started filming today, we actually had a viewer reach out and ask us how these trim pieces are attached and what rivets to use. We've never seen Olympic rivets used on these. Generally, it's going to be pop rivets and then screws in certain places. So what we're going to do is we're going to put back pop rivets as we found them and screws, but we are going to add sealant to make sure that we don't have water wicking in along the screws. I'm all ready to remove this. A couple tips if you're going to try this project yourself. Start the screws with a hand screwdriver just to make sure you don't break the heads off. I've done that before. It adds quite a lot of bit of time and work. So if you can loosen that screw first, that's helpful. And then I'm just going to carefully skip the heads off. Carefully skip the heads off the rivets with a 1/8 drill bit. Is he full? All right, I'll get him. With this trim piece loose, I can show you a little bit about how Airstreams are constructed. The exterior wall comes down to these rivets here. This should all be watertight. Below this line, this runs underneath the belly, and it's expected that this will drain downward. So any water that gets into this seam should drain downward and out. Sure enough, coming around the front here, we've got more water just sitting in the trim. Clearly, we got a little bit of rust on these steel screws. I'm really glad we're taking the time to get in here and fix this. There's something in this carpet and I'm not sure what it is.
Your red rag is getting lint stuck to my carpet.
I'm sorry.
I don't know what that stuff is that makes it...
Yeah, it's sticky. I'm hoping it's better. I'll come back with that gaffer's tape we still have and I'll kind of lint roll this essentially.
Okay.
And then, yeah, I'm gonna stop now, let it dry and then do that.
Okay.
But I think it's better.
It's better. You're going to need to buy more cleaner when we go grocery shopping this evening.
How'd that stuff work for you?
It's okay. I like that it's grapefruit and it's not like super perfumey.
Yeah.
Although it has a nice scent, I find citrus scents really refreshing. So I also need Dawn dish soap. Let's make a list because we're gonna forget.
Yeah. Good bit of rust on this one. This one too. Really glad I got in here to get after this. I'm gonna be careful about taking these out. I don't want them to break off on me. So I'm gonna use the hand screwdriver again.
I'm really surprised that those are backing out.
Yeah, they're pretty rusted, but they are coming out. I was worried I might break one. I got 2 more to go.
Yeah, last time on the 2006 we broke a couple.
Yeah. I'm going to continue with the cleaning and the prep of this rail going all the way around, but I'll come back and show you if I've got any issues or problems I want to share. So this is a normal situation where a screw goes through here, through there. I'm going to add a little sealant, and I think that's corrected. Here's a situation I don't like. This hole, I don't know what it is or why it's there. This one here looks like the threads of a bolt pressed into the aluminum skin. Not sure what's going on there either. It's hard to see, but there's a crack along the bottom of that could easily cause a leak. And this is just how the Airstream was made. Not sure why, but a couple imperfections here that are hidden behind the trim. Not a big deal, if they're sealed. There's definitely mud and water behind this whole stretch here.
Well, it was a flood trailer, so that makes sense.
Yeah, all these screws are definitely rusty. I'm glad we're doing this so we can see if it's sealed all the way to the floor. You may be wondering why we haven't dropped the belly pan and painted the entire frame. But right now what we're trying to do is work from the hitch up to the first tank and really keep our infrastructure in the campground tight. We're really not supposed to be doing complicated projects, and so this allows us to both keep our infrastructure tight. Being discreet is a priority, but it also allows us to film a variety of projects each week. More and more water in there. As I'm working closely here trying to peel this sticky stuff off, what I'm actually seeing is that there is a gap in the trim here, which may contribute to a floor leak. Yep, the pattern really is, now that we've done both sides, rivets down the flat, and as soon as it starts to turn, they start to use screws. I think once you bend that trim, you need a little more force to hold it, and the screws go all the way through and into the floor. Where the black part comes up to meet the silver, there's a few places where I didn't like how big the gap was. The black was pulling away from the body. So I've added a few rivets going around to close that gap up. I'm trying to run the plastic scraper carefully just to catch this sealant edge, and really what I'm trying to do is knock it back flatter. I'm really not trying to get rid of 100% of it. It takes a huge amount of time to get this stuff off 100%, and I don't think it's necessary. I think new sealant will stick to the old here.
Well, we might be in for afternoon thunder, so I'm not sure that's a good idea.
I'm gonna work faster. So I've gone and drilled out every rivet hole nice and carefully so that I won't have any difficulty putting a fresh rivet in when I lift the trim back up. What I'm going to do now is go around to every hole and put some power bond in. Then I'm going to start to lift the trim back into place, start with the screws down here, and then work into rivets further down. So this sealant here is just kind of how this was from the factory. I think they've essentially not set it up right. It's supposed to be where this seals to this, but I'm okay with that. I like the idea of the water draining out the bottom. The main goal here is to fill every pop rivet hole, every pop rivet that is used in this line, and every hole that never had a screw or a rivet, to make sure I don't have water wicking in along and into the floor. In the past I've used Tremco, but right now I've got some Power Bond and I got to use up this tube. It's a little bit older. Still good, but it's going to work for this, for putting screws in. Perfectly adequate sealant. Still got a couple rivets to put in, but I want to make sure that I get this little trim piece put back and lined up before I put in the close rivet so that it's too close to actually get it in the slot. Sometimes it takes a little wiggle to get things in. All right, everything is now lined up. Really happy with the work I've done here to get this belt line sealed and put back. But what I did was I sealed every single rivet and screw that goes through it, and any holes behind here that did not have any screws in them or rivets in them. And the goal being that I want to solve the water leaking in problem before I come back and seal the top edge. So actually we've got forecasted rain in the next couple days, and I want to use that to test to see if everything is sealed before I come back and do a bead down the top of this. And I'm going to come back and do that and add the belt line trim back in. How are you feeling this morning?
I am feeling better. Thank you for asking. Yesterday I overheated. I was out cleaning the truck Andrew was working on the trim.
So in fairness, it was 97 when you're out there, and the sun kind of came around on you and put the sun on the truck.
Right, and I was lazy. I was like, oh, I'm almost done. So I was like vigorously wiping things down and vacuuming. And what I should have done is stopped what I was doing, packed up my stuff, and moved to the other end of the rig in the shade. The sun had come out, was just beating down on me. I ended up feeling really nauseous, and I had to come inside.
You looked a little green there.
It was not a good scene. I came in, took a cool shower, and then I had to sit very still in the AC. I really thought I was going to be sick to my stomach. Turns out it was fine.
It is summertime now, and we've just got to get out there earlier to start our projects. But also, I know how much you hate shopping, but I think you need to invest in a little bit of summer clothing that'll help you with the heat.
Yeah, at least something light colored.